Lewis, doing a game review, on Grey Goo. So, Grey Goo, RTS game, made by Greybox. What you'll come to find with this, Greybox actually has former members of Westwood in them. People would know Westwood best for the original Command & Conquer series. As we go through the review, we'll do more about the game itself and what features it comes with and the kind of things you can expect around this game. Start with the options menu so that you can actually see what options they give us, which is quite a vast range for this kind of style game. So as you would expect, you've got all your timers, things on those lines. As you move into video, you've got auto detect all your best settings. You can also go into advanced and turn up details if you need to. Going into audio, you've got all of your adjustments. Quite a few adjustments, a bit strangely. All the different sound effects, gameplay effects, things like that, which is quite interesting. And then you move into hotkeys, so all of those fast playing, fast action games that you would come to expect, things like StarCraft 2 and games like that, more the competitive scene. You can bind up all your hotkeys to make yourself an immense player. As you go through the actual game itself, you have a campaign mode, which is based around the three factions, which are the humans, the beta, and the goo. We'll go into what the goo is a bit later on, hence its name. You have skirmish mode, so again, play against friends. In this area here with single player, we're playing against AIs, which is what we'll be doing later on, just to show you some of the fractions. And then you can go into multiplayer, where you're then able to play against other people. You can find games, you can invite friends, and you can go through matches in that sense of things. If we move into skirmish mode, lots of different variations of maps, so at least we can have a sift through. Okay, not as many as I was expecting them, which is quite a bit interesting for a game where you've got 8 maps to pick from. Again, the map scaling is quite large, so if I pick this map up the top here, move into characters and races. I'm going to play as the beta, and I'm going to put the AI as the goo. So let's load into this and see what happens. Whilst that's loading in, what I will mention is the spec side of things for you. So the minimum requirements for the actual game is a 3.5 GHz i3 dual core or equivalent, 4 gigs worth of memory, and at least a gig graphics card of DirectX 11. Their actual recommended specs, which seem a bit crazy, 3 GHz i5 quad core, 8 gigs worth of RAM, and again 1 gig DDR Direct 3D 11 compatible graphics card, which when you go into actual models, that's 570 and above, 7970, stuff like that. So you do need to have some reasonable amounts of power to it. The one thing you've got to be aware of is it requires 15 gig to actually install onto the system. So it is quite a chunky game when you come down to it. Now that we're loaded in, we'll start off with building one of the refineries, which is your main resource gathering tool within the game itself. So again, you're going to build refineries. This piece here is our hub, or our headquarters. So this is where we're going to start building off. With the beta in which I'm playing, what you do is you build off hubs. So hubs are their way of connecting areas together. Each faction has it slightly differently in the way that they do it. So don't be too alarmed if the fact that you are confused by it. It's got quite a steep learning curve. Even in the campaign mode, it keeps you really thinking about how to play, and you end up having to restart on quite a constant basis around the what to do, how to do it kind of scenario. Oh, here we go. Here's the goo. So they've already come in to try and scout me out, find out what's going on. Let's just get rid of him quickly. So you will always start with one character each, regardless of the fraction that you play. So goo itself starts with that little guy that you've just seen wandering off that way. We're not going to chase him because that'd be a bad idea. So whilst I've been talking, what I've been building, silo, so I can actually increase my money hold. And then I've built a basic factory. So your basic factory will allow you to build certain units. And then you'll find as you go across, you have what they call attachments. So onto a hub, if I wanted to build that unit there, I would need to build a tank attachment. So if I go into structure, find tank attachment and build that on that hub, once that's built, I will actually then be able to pump out those from that factory. So it is quite specific in what you can build. And there's my hubs, so I've got a small, a medium and a large hub. So I have to have built the small hub first to be able to move on and build the next hubs. The one thing you will find, and the best thing you can do with the game, is make sure you've got lots of resources. So when I click onto these guys, I can see how full that resource counter actually is. And as they go through the game and they start to deplete, you've got to be looking for more resources. There we go. So my tank attachment's now finished, and I can now build these guys.
Unit in production.
You can access all your barracks from once by clicking on the light, the heavy units, the air units from the base, and you've also got what they call their ultimate kind of machine for the actual beta. These guys have a floating fortress, so it's able to build units from there, and also is able to do 1 mega attack. We won't be showing this in the video, but it's because it takes absolute hours to get to. It took me nearly an hour and a half to complete 1 match. So if I just quickly build up, you have got larger factories as well. So this guy is able to pump out 3 units at a time, whereas this guy here will only pump out 1 at a time. So you can build very, very quickly in this game to get what you need to get. What you want to be looking at up the top here is with your resources. If you're in minus 63 or minus a number a second, you're actually spending more than you're actually receiving. So that's why I've got now, my large factory won't continue because I haven't got enough resources for it, and my factory refinery wouldn't have continued because I haven't got enough resources for it. So that's my fault because I haven't built into that a lot earlier on. There we go, there's another one of the goo coming across to say hello to us. So by the looks of it, the goo have started their build. Let's go and have a look and see what they're up to. The one thing you will notice with this game is there are a couple of different and unusual ways of doing things. Prime example of that is cover. So if I run under these trees, you'll now see that my characters have gone green, which means they're under cover. What that means is if an enemy character walks past, unless they walk into the trees, they won't see me. Also meaning that if, for example, say I see an enemy walk past, I can fire upon them until they enter the trees. That's when they can then see me and fire at me. So what you've got here is a way of using your weaker units to actually be able to attack stronger units. And it's a great way of hiding marines and units when you can't find out where your enemy is. One of the big criticisms of the game so far has always been around the speed of some of the units moving. Oh, there we go, there was a bit of goo.
Loaded and ready.
I'm trying to send them off in a couple of different directions. So the map's quite vast, as you can see, and the character detailing is quite intense for the game itself. What you'll also notice as I'm walking these units around is the detail of the maps. The map detailing is quite strong.
Let's punch some holes.
I'm trying to send them around to see if I can find these goo guys.
Guns ready. Forward.
So the actual goo are a nanobot race, meaning that they don't actually create structures in the same way that the beta do, and also the humans do. They do it all based upon a nano kind of material structure. So what you end up with those guys, they can move a lot easier around the map in terms of where their base is, because their refinery is actually their headquarters as such. So once I hunt them down, they should be in this bottom corner here, hopefully. Oh, there's my refinery.
Unit under attack.
Ooh, crikey. There's just a few coming my way then, by the looks of that. Oh, there it is. There we go. So what you just saw there on the map, and what I have here as well, is actually one of the main hubs in the game. What this will be doing currently, whilst it's over these points here, which is gathering resources, it will be gathering resources. Each one of these is able to do a element of attack in terms of what it can build, but cannot physically attack itself. As you can see, it's running away from me. What we'll do, we'll jump out of this one, and we'll quickly jump into another match. I think the best thing I can do, if I head up here to my base when I surrender, just give you an idea of all the graphic side of things, and watch it all explode in a pretty way. There we go. Right, let's quickly debrief. Let's jump straight back in, and let's go in and have a quick look at the goo, which is one of the strangest races I think I've ever played. Loading times, not too bad, not too shabby at all. Okay, this is running on an SSD from my PC, so I would kind of expect it to be nice and quick. Right, the goo. So the goo race, as you can see straight away, is a nanobot race. So there is no hub, there's no central area. What happens is you move these guys to the building area, and they then build up resources, as you see around the edge here. So each one will take up a certain amount of resource to actually build. Each one of these, when you actually build these, will then allow you to build units off them. Whether that's light units, heavy units, or tech upgrades. You can also build, from the actual main itself, more of those actual like mothers, goo mothers or nano mothers as such. So that's allowing you to spread these guys out and have these pumping out from all over the place. It does take time with this race. It is a bit of an interesting one because you can get, with this race, a little bit greedy in terms of resource building. So it starts off feeling quite slow, but as soon as she's got... That's nearly done. Give it 30 more seconds. Right. So I've now just built 4 units. Straight away. Longer the units are alive for, the more energy they keep. So it does make them a little bit easier to actually operate. But now if we head straight down there, I've got a little army to go take against them. And that's what, 1 minute 45 into the game, I've got a little scouting army that I can go do some damage in my enemy. Game itself, really interesting to play. Matches are not short by any stretch of the imagination. So don't be thinking, oh yeah, I'll complete a match in half an hour before I go to work. Because unless you're that good, I severely doubt you're going to be completing a match that quickly. But this is the review. If I was to rate this game out of 10, most probably give it a solid 8, 8.5, maybe even 9. Got some really fun elements to it, and also giving you the actual, what you would predict from RTS based game. Cheers guys, I've been Lewis. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.